Hi everybody, welcome to the workshop. This is where I do all my model building and creating and hanging out with old Athena dog here. And yeah, it's the fun part of every build, I guess, when you complete your build and you're all done and you figure, well, I think this is where I'm going to call it done. And that's where we're at with this one here. Well, yep, that's where we're at with this one here. So we just completed the Revell 148 scale, the FA-18E Super Hornet. And, you know, overall thoughts and wins and losses or passes and fails, I guess, our report card for this build. I would recommend it for the intermediate builder to the novice builder. I consider myself a novice builder to intermediate. I would say comparatively to where you can reach as far as scale modeling goes, I'm a novice. Most of the things that I attempt here on this channel, first times I'm trying them for myself. So for the novice, you can have good success with this kit. There's a few fit things and, you know, excuse me, a couple things here and there that might give you a bit of a challenge, but nothing that the intermediate to novice, even novice modeler couldn't handle. The wings go together fairly easy, and let's see, the landing gear, it has those fiddly bits. There were two parts for the back gear. I didn't put them on. I'm never going to notice that they're not there. It doesn't bother me that they're not there, and so there. So I'm just going to leave it the way that it is. But we attempted a couple of things on this kit. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. We tried the smoke tint first, and I just couldn't get it to go clear. It stayed a little bit foggy. So I went and cleaned that out with some Windex and some IPA, some alcohol, and it left a bit of a smoky tint to the glass, even though I cleaned it. And it was even, so I just sort of left it. And then after, I tried again with a clear green, Tamiya green, heavily thinned. And I did that on the front part of the canopy, which you see in the final shots there. And that seemed to work out not too bad. Other than that, let's see, decals. I did run into some decal problems. One of the issues was the decal itself. It was old and it was sort of white. It didn't really look good once I got it down. And then I had used decal solution on it, Mark Fit, and it had softened the decal and it had really permeated into the flat matte coat that I had put on the paint before I put the decals down. And I couldn't get it to come up, so we had to sort of remove that, get that peeled up so I couldn't reuse it, and then use one of the new ones on the wing. That worked out okay. The second problem wasn't so much with the decals. The decals laid down fine, but after I wanted to do some masking, although I did future 2 coats and I let it dry for 48 hours, I think, before I masked, I didn't get adhesion, and I pulled up the decals that I'd put on, and yeah, that was that. So we did run into a couple little issues with this one, but that should be expected when you're new at building models. So, you know, it didn't wreck the model for me, and it certainly didn't ruin the experience. If at the time I was pretty like, oh no, but you know, you get over it pretty quick, and then you find a way around it. And I think now that I'm getting more comfortable with the airbrush and a little bit more comfortable with the assembly process and stuff, I think you feel more comfortable. So when something happens, it's not as catastrophic as it was when you first start. So yeah, I just kind of thought we'd got to go through the last little bits of the kit. I think I have one little piece that I'm going to glue on, and that is the lens for the light on the front landing gear. And I think I just have to put some silver on behind it and then glue it into place on that front gear. And I do believe that is the last of anything to do on this build. So we'll just wheel over here to the tabletop and we'll just take a look at it. I did put a little base on it for it too. So yeah, why don't we just wheel over and we'll take a look. All right, and well, here it is. The completed Revell 148 scale F-18 Super Hornet. And I think we did pretty good on getting this together for the, you know, scale or the level of modeler that we're at. We didn't use any filler, so there's no seam filler, there's no putties or anything used here. Just sanding the parts, getting them to fit as best as I could. And that's a straight out of the box build for it. And I thought it actually came together pretty good. Things that we tried new. I guess we tried kind of a new technique. It's the first time we'd ever sprayed the AK Interactives. We did try the this one here, the old Duraluminum. So this one here is the one that we tried, and I was able to get it to spray, so that was pretty good. I'm not really all that happy with the finished color. I think it's a little too gold and coppery, but we're learning, so we're getting there. We got a bit of that bluing going on, and was able to get the metallics sprayed without too much spattering and too much trouble, so that was a plus. The original plan was to do a smoke tint with Tamiya smoke, and we did try that, and I'm not sure if I had sprayed it maybe too close or was getting not enough atomization. I thought I had it thinned pretty good, but when I tried to clear it back up again with the Future, it didn't work. So what I did was I cleaned it down. Now, oddly enough, I really do think that some of the tint, the smoke tint, kind of stayed. Might have even stained the glass a bit. It could be just my imagination, but I think even after I cleaned it with alcohol and Windex, I think a little bit did remain. And then what I did was I thought, well, I'll try again, and I tried with the clear Tamiya, the green, heavily thinned, and I did this front part, and that seemed to work out okay. It's fairly clear, you could kind of see through it. I let it dry overnight for a good 12 hours. Maybe even longer. It might have been about 18 hours. I let it dry for, and then I dipped it in the Future, and that seemed to work good once it dried. So I kind of like that. It draws your attention to the front of the plane with so much gray going on. I thought it was kind of a nice little breakup for just to get some color in there, and sort of draws your eye to that front of the plane. So overall, it was pretty happy. Just a little look, I guess, at the base. We just made a quick base. We didn't do anything too crazy. I just took one of these wood, or just like a wood picture base or craft base, and I spray painted it black to start with. I took some Tamiya gray, and I just sort of airbrushed around and sort of got different models grays across the surface, and then masked off the line. And I used these Vallejo stencils for the numbers. I got a bit of bleed. I was a little heavy there, but I thought, well, that kind of thing happens in real life, so no harm, no foul. I thought that kind of thing does happen, so I just left it. I didn't obsess about that. And then to get the tire streaks, I literally just shaved off some lead off a pencil, and I just brushed it across the surface with this, and just kept streaking it until I got what I wanted for some faint tire skid marks and stuff on the surface of the asphalt. And yeah, I think it sort of sets off the plane. I just had this figure here from an older kit, and I just thought I'd throw a coat of paint on him and set him there for give you a sense of scale. And I had it just sort of here, so he's taxiing out, getting ready to get onto the runway to take off and head out on his mission. We did put some missiles on this one. We don't usually add missiles, really, to our planes that we've done in the past. We don't usually add the armaments on them too much. We did to A-10 Warthog that we built right in the very beginning when I first started. But it's the first time we really kind of, gone out with the armaments. And yeah, I thought it turned out okay. Got all the parts glued on. I just have to refasten this drop tank. It seems a little bit wobbly. So we'll get that sorted before I set her on the bench for good. But there's a look at the underside. And, I did go super crazy with the weathering. Although it is pretty heavy weathered. I know these planes don't really get that super, super dirty. But I'm sure that when they come back from flying through, some pretty dirty combat zones and stuff, I guess, they might get a bit of soot on them. But that's me, the model student. Our weathering usually does get a little bit heavy weathering. But you know, hey, we're having fun, right? I mean, have fun with your models. Don't be scared. I'm not. I don't care. I mean, I know things aren't to canon, or maybe things aren't absolutely accurate, and I don't care. I don't care. Like I'm not building the model for that. I'm building the model to have fun and experiment with different techniques and learn, learn as you go. It's really nice if you can get your models cheap, if you can find them pre-owned, if you can get them on sale, and just start slapping stuff together, gluing and sanding and painting so that you can make mistakes and not really feel like it's really cost you anything too severely. I find that it helps if you have like a cheaper kit. I think in this example here, I think I paid $10 for this kit. I bought 2 or 3 kits together, all at about $10 and $15 a piece, probably for $35-40. Got 3-4 model kits, and this one had a sticker, I think, of $15 from a yard sale or something, and I ended up paying $10. And for $10 in 2025, I mean, I got hours and hours of enjoyment out of it. I learned some different techniques, building it, and now I'm left with what I think is a really nice looking F-18 Super Hornet. It's not perfect. None of my models are. If you're looking for perfection and for detail and for all that kind of stuff, this is not the channel where you're going to get that. This is a channel where you're going to feel you're not alone. And, no matter what we do, it improves, and we get better with each build. And sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, sometimes we pass, sometimes we fail. And that's just the hurdles that you go over when you first start into something. So I really enjoyed this build. I can't recommend it enough. I think it's a really good model kit. For the novice to the intermediate, you're definitely going to end up with something that looks pretty cool. And that's about it for this one. I just thought I'd kind of recap the build itself, the model kit, what we learned, what we tried, what won, what succeeded. We did have our decal problems. We did replace this decal here. I'll just sort of give you this one here. I just had some generic decals, and they sort of resembled the rescue signal that goes there, the signage that goes right there by the cockpit for the rescue thing, and they were the same shape, general design. So I thought, oh, you know what, I'll just use those, seeing as I didn't have any more of those type rescue ones, and I thought it works okay with the weight. And I did add the decals on the top. They don't really go there. I don't know where they go. They were included with this kit. I just sort of thought they kind of looked cool there. I have no idea why you wouldn't be able to step there or not step there or anything to do with any of that. So I don't think that that's a real thing, but I thought it sort of added a little bit of detail. I did the same on the bottom around the weapon pylons and stuff, and the gun pod, and we sort of added some small little decals just in and around in here and stuff on stuff, just to sort of add some visual interest. But I think mostly what really sort of capped it off was that green front. I really like that. I think it really gives it like a sort of a, I don't know, like a realistic hardware sort of look. I think it just sort of adds I think it looks a lot better with that green glass in the front than it did before I did it. So I'm glad I tried it, and I'm glad it worked out like to the degree that it did anyways. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Also, let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions for something that you might want to see someone like me attempt to build, because I do have a pretty substantial stash, and I'm not scared to go out and grab something within reason. I mean, some kits are pretty, they're almost unobtainium. But yeah, let me know if there's something that you'd like to see me try, because I'm game for anything, and I enjoy the hobby. So if there is something strange or something weird, or maybe just even something routine that you might want to see me try to attempt and see what happens when we try to do it, let me know, because I'm more than willing to throw myself into the fire and see what we learn and see how we can improve our skills. So I guess that's about it for the F-18 Revell build. That's it. We're on into the next project. We'll be starting that right away. We'll do an in the box, out of the box review on it, and we're getting started right on it. It's going to be a Tamiya kit. It's going to be an armor kit, and it has a big gun. And those are your sort of hints for what's coming next. But anyways, that's all for now for the model student and our Revell 148 Super Hornet. Great kit, relatively, I think, cheap, easy to find. I'm going to think that it's probably easy kit to find. And we're giving it a 2 thumbs up. We really enjoyed it, and I think it turned out not looking too bad. So from me to you, if you're building something, carry on, awesome. If you're thinking about trying something, go ahead, take a shot, jump right in. Don't be scared, just take it one step at a time. Use YouTube as a resource. It's really good. I learned everything that I know what I'm doing. Everything that I've learned to date, I learned off great channels on YouTube. Like Busy Builder is a great channel to learn from. I'll leave a link below in the description. Flory Models was, I think, the first model channel that I stumbled across when I first wasn't even building models. It just really got me into the hobby. And there's Genesis Models, really great tutorials on all of your fundamentals that are really going to help you get over those first hurdles, like how to thin your paints, and what brushes to use, and how to use your glues, and when to use super glue, when not to use super glue. It's just fundamentals that you may have known, or maybe you were using when you were younger, if you built models when you were younger, or might have forgot. So it's good to brush up, and it's really a great thing that those resources are available for us new modelers to use. And great thanks to those guys who put the time in and the effort to stoop down and help us earthlings try to imitate what it is that they do. But anyways, that's it for me. I'm the model student. If you're building something, carry on. If you've thought about building something, grab something, give it a shot, and keep loving, living, laughing, and have a great time. And until then, we'll be here. So we'll see you when we're back. Bye.